Great, so I'm gonna alright, we're streaming. This is Tuesday in second period, and I'm gonna go over a little more based on our trivia project for the quarter. It says 1 viewer. I never know if that's just me or a real human somewhere in the world. Now it says 0, so I definitely know it's not a real person. But as always, these are posted later for people to find, and I've made a playlist so you can just get them. Hopefully they'll be in order. I might decide to put the date in the titles, or we'll figure out what works. Let me know if there's something that helps. So today I posted a little post, but I haven't done a full assignment, and I'll get into that in a second. So quick recap, if you go to this About page, which you can find on the first assignment, it gives you all the stuff you need. We're going to make a trivia game that looks something like this. It'll give you multiple choice questions. You click one, it'll tell you right or wrong, it'll change the color, it'll wait a few seconds, and then go to the next one. At the end, it'll have a results screen with your score and then some kind of, good job or bad job or something else. And if you go through this tutorial, it gives you little bits to add. Copy this to your HTML, copy this to your JavaScript, copy this as a new function, one at a time, explaining what it does. And you should go through that, and it'll really help. As you go, we'll come up with little errors or little things we have to fix. And luckily, all the groups are doing the same thing, so it won't be unique errors. It'll be stuff that whenever you see it, I'll be able to say, oh yeah, I've seen that 5 times. Here's what you do. So this is a very structured project. We're all following the same plan until the end. Then you can add your own stuff, make it special. For example, you could add a button that says go back, or a button that says skip, or a button that says tell me my score so far. You could add images, things like that, in order to change it, in addition to, obviously, the content. So I'm just recapping stuff from last time. I posted 2 issues. One is that the JavaScript file has to be the right name. I believe if you open a replit, then it'll default to calling this script.js, which is fine. It can be called anything. And if you do the copy from the template, it uses the name code.js. So you could either change this to match, or change this to match, or change both of them, as long as they end up saying the same thing. If this one says like Pikachu.js and this one also does, it's fine as long as they match. So that's just one little thing that came up. And then another was the Google Sheet. The way this works, and you can see the link on my original post, is that the JavaScript looks for a database, and it's not a fancy database with any kind of new file type or whatever. It's just a Google Sheet that has number, category, question, and then the 4 choices. And the JavaScript picks one of these at random, mixes up the answers at random, and then copies the text into something like this. So the way you do it is you're going to copy this sheet, make your own, change all the stuff, and then you have to change the link in the JavaScript. There's a part where it says, Google Sheet link equals whatever. And the problem we came up with is that you have to do this thing, publish to the web. Obviously it's great because this is not mine. This is the one that was in the example. But you have to hit that publish to the web button. And you, on a student account, can only publish to Greta Clark. So what we found is that if you send it to me, then I'll publish it to the real web for everybody. And then the JavaScript can access it, and then you can still edit it, share it, copy it, do whatever you got to do. But unfortunately, we do have to do that one extra step where you go to the share and like turn me into the owner. We might be able to find it to where I can send you.
If you paste it on Google Classroom, copy the spreadsheet and make a copy,
Mm-hmm.
send that copy to the classroom. Put it to a video on the students.
Yeah, but the issue is you'd have to do the publish to the web each time. If you've made a copy of one that was shared with people, then you can have the same share settings. But if you make a copy of one that's published, you still have to republish. At least that's what we found when we were experimenting last time. There may be a way to shave off one or two of those steps, but the only way to find out is to try. So I think last time we tried to have me send the ownership back to someone who tried this, and then they lost it. You know, the little Greater Clark check mark came back on, so they had to undo that step. But we'll find out for sure. So anyway, speaking of that, we're going to get into the team stuff. You have a team of 3, and the roles, one person does the code, HTML, JavaScript, one person does the quiz content, so the question bank stuff and making sure they have the right theme and they make sense and they don't contradict each other, all of that good stuff, and they just have general good English writing. And then the final person does the design, the colors, the timing, the images, the fitting with the topic, using CSS code, which is kind of new for most of us. And those 3 overlap and depend on each other, but each one has, each person has a specific domain. So last time, some of you guys chose your groups, chose your topic, and got started. And I want to make sure everybody gets to that point. So if you've chosen a group, I'm not going to change it unless you try to choose more than 3. But if you have not, if you're not in one yet, I'm going to put you in a group. I'm not going to make it painful. I'm not going to put you with people you don't work with or you don't get along with or something. I'm perfectly happy to adjust and figure it out. But anyway, I just started a doc. It's obviously not finished, but here's one group, which, by the way, this has a period 7 person and a period 2 person. Totally fine. They've got their stuff shared with each other. They're working along. They're going to be just as effective as anybody else. I got a group with 2 people, and they're actually doing great, and they're the ones who already got their spreadsheet and everything. But they need a 3rd person, so I'm going to add one. And then when I do, they can see the ID number, share their stuff with that person, and that person can see their ID numbers because it's all on this sheet. You guys can see this sheet. Maybe I'll make it so you can edit it. But that's the plan. One person, Evan, told me that I should just throw in a group. I could add 2 over here, or I could put him as the 3rd in this one. Either way is fine. So some groups may have already gotten going, and I will add them, and then there might be a couple people who need to be formed into a group or sort of slotted into open roles. And that's the plan for today. I'm not going to add a new assignment, but you already kind of know what the assignments will be. Go through the tutorial, make the template, get your question sheet, start changing it, start making it your own, and eventually add one thing that's like not in there, like a new button or a new image or a new sound effect or something like that. And that's the whole quarter. Okay, everything we do is going to be based on that project and based on going through those steps. I still need to finish the grades from earlier in the quarter. I'm going to probably do a lot of those during impact today, so you might see a grade change, but it'll be going up. It won't be going down, so I don't think you're going to complain. And that's it for the rest of this period right now. I'm going to end the video so that it doesn't get too long. And I'm going to assign groups, talk to people, help them with the sheet and the Replit and all that good stuff. By the way, I've been mentioning Replit. You can probably do this on CodeHS, but I haven't tried. So if somebody wants to experiment with that, especially if they have a share function where different people can work on the same site at the same time, I haven't tried that. We'll figure it out. There you go.